is my 8-week pregnancy update. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks, and that's obviously partly why I didn't do a 7-week update, but I'll just get straight on and tell you. But basically, I think when I was roughly 6 weeks in a couple of days or so, I think like the day after I did my last update, Tuesday the 12th of April, at night, we ended up going into hospital, going into A&E, because I'd been having like pains, like aches and cramps, like the normal sort of pains I get like with pregnancy that I got with Isla to start with, but then I started getting more concentrated pain on my right side, and it started getting worse on and off. It wasn't a constant pain, it was just on and off, like I said. And then that evening it got really bad to the point it brought tears to my eyes, and it was really, really sharp. And I was like, I couldn't sleep because I was worried. I just felt awful, and was like, I need to go get checked just for peace of mind more than anything. So it was a bit of pain because obviously it was like 11 or so when I was having these pains. Ali was in bed, and we were like, well, what do we do? We contacted Liam's parents, and luckily they were kind of just still up. They were about to go to bed, but they said they'd look after Isla for us. So we went up there, dropped Isla with them, and then went straight to the hospital from there. The hospital did lots of different checks. They took my bloods. I had a gynae doctor come and check everything down there. She pretty much straight away said that she didn't think that it was an ectopic, and that she thought everything seemed okay. They were a little bit concerned because my heart rate was elevated, but obviously I was nervous, and it kind of can be anyway in pregnancy. But they were a little bit concerned about me because obviously I was quite worried. This was my second pregnancy. They knew, I think they trusted me a bit more that the pains I was feeling wasn't normal, that I'd felt, it was different than what I'd felt before, and for that they were more concerned. The gynae doctor that I had, she was lovely, and she said that for peace of mind for them and obviously for me, they'd book me in for a scan the next day. Originally I thought I was going to go home in that time and then have to come back, but they took ages getting my blood, which they always do, and they did a blood test, and was still checking like other vital signs. I did my did an ECG and stuff like that. And then eventually they decided that they were going to keep me in. They kind of didn't really tell us. They just sort of moved me into a ward, and I was like, huh? So yeah, I ended up staying in overnight. So I say overnight. By the time I got to the ward, it was like 5 a.m. I got probably an hour's sleep, if that, before everyone sort of starts waking up and they start doing breakfast and stuff. I was starving because obviously I'd been awake all night, I hadn't slept, so I was so hungry, and then also feeling kind of sick because I was hungry. And then I was told that I couldn't eat or drink until I had the scan. So I didn't have breakfast either, so I had to wait until I had the scan, which unfortunately Liam had to go back to Isla and then come back, and unfortunately he missed it. Everything looked okay, it's not an ectopic, it's fine. My ovaries looked fine, and baby's in the right position, and we saw baby on the screen, and I saw a heartbeat, she only just about could see it. It was really hard, and baby was obviously very small. They obviously was expecting me to be about 7 weeks from my last period, despite me telling them I knew I was earlier. They just didn't take my word for it until they saw it. They didn't tell me how long how much earlier I was measuring, but the lady put down, the technician and I saw the baby, and we saw the heartbeat, and she took measurements of it all. But then when she put on the paperwork for the doctor, she said that she hadn't seen the embryo and the baby, and I was like, well, what? Because I saw it, I saw the ticking heartbeat on the screen. But then she had told me in the room that she was going to book me in for another scan because it was early, and I kind of get the feeling that in order to get the other scan, she had to say that she sort of hadn't seen it, and I'm not sure. Obviously it's made me a bit worried, but it's annoying that I wish I could have filmed it so that I can remember, because obviously it's just my memory, and I know she pointed out and she was like, look, can you see it flashing and that, so I know I saw it, but obviously it's not down on the paperwork, and according to the doctors, because then they came and saw me afterwards and was like, we didn't see a heartbeat, but it might just be early days, we think it's early, we think it's fine. but we want you to come back in 2 weeks to be sure. So who knows? Basically, obviously it's got me a bit more worried, and on and off I've been struggling to stay positive and stuff. Obviously I'm trying my hardest, and I think that's partly also why I didn't do an update last week. I just, on top of symptoms, which I'll get into in a minute, I've just been a bit down in the dumps, to be honest, about it all, a bit scared and a bit worried. So I've got another rescan this Friday, which it's literally taken forever. But tomorrow I've got my midwife booking in at the actual hospital that I'm going to should hopefully be giving births in, and that's actually going to be the hospital that I go to for everything else, for like my future scans and stuff. So I've got to explain to them everything that's happened so far as well tomorrow. It's been difficult already. Like, this pregnancy has been very different from Isla's. I definitely feel a lot more like worried and a lot less confident, really. Yeah. But saying all that, I have had a lot of symptoms, and I'm still hoping that that means that I am pregnant and everything's progressing, but I have heard that people still had symptoms and babies not, so just praying and hoping that it is. Everything's fine. But yeah, I've also got just before I move on to symptoms, I've also got my scan for my 12-week scan at my hospital that I'm going to be going to, and that's on the 16th of May, so obviously I've got the scan this Friday, and then hopefully it's not too long away till I have my next scan. So in some ways I'm lucky because I've got scans early, which doesn't happen in the UK normally unless, you know, there's a problem. And for that I am really grateful, like, for a peace of mind. If everything goes fine this Friday, you know, I'm going to be so happy, like, so happy. I'm just really hoping that, like, just getting to this Friday is kind of a big thing at the moment. But yeah, so symptoms. Nausea. Sickness. Oh my gosh, it's been so much worse than with Isla. Like, I had sickness in the evening and a little bit in the morning after breakfast with Isla, but nothing like this. Like, I've been feeling sick. Like, when I get really hungry, I feel sick. Then once I've had something, about 10 minutes, sometimes not even that, after I've eaten, I feel sick again, and it's crippling. Like, I haven't thrown up. I'm one of those people that can kind of keep going, and I, you know, really will keep gagging, and I still won't throw up. But it's just so bleh. Like, for some days I've struggled to even go in the kitchen just because the idea of being around food is horrible. I just feel like I've been a bit bedbound. Like, I haven't stayed in bed all day. I have got up and done things, but I felt so weak with it all. Just awful. I've also had a cold and a cough still that's just sort of come and gone and lingering, and yeah, I don't know, it's just not fun. I've just not felt well at all, not myself at all, and I think that's been playing on my emotions and my worrying. And it's like, I know that obviously having symptoms, I feel like, oh, I should be happy that I'm having symptoms, and I am. Like, if they were to go away, I know I'd worry even more, but I can't help just, like, because I feel horrible and I feel ill, that, you know, I feel like I'm worrying more as well, because I just just feel horrible. Yeah, so obviously with the sickness, like I said, I've had food aversions and haven't really felt like eating a lot. Like, I'm hungry a lot still. It's just, I don't know what I fancy. Like, it's really hard to think about food, and I'll suddenly fancy one thing and then I'll probably even suddenly go off it. Like, it's all over the place, literally all over the place. Typically still being fancying unhealthy food and not healthy food. Well, at least to begin with I did. I think after kind of a couple of days of probably not eating so well, and having bits here and there, I've started the last couple of days fancying more healthy foods, like fancying salads a bit more. So maybe I had that satisfaction and now I'm starting to move on, I don't know. But yeah, my boobs have been hurting like no tomorrow. Yeah, they've definitely still been hurting lots, and they've grown. I am now in the next size up, so luckily I kept some of my bras from when I had Isla, so I was able to just, you know, already had some to put on, which I'm wearing now. But yeah, so they've already grown. I just, it's still mind-boggling how, like, I'm only 8 weeks. I'm really early. I'm months and months away from giving birth, and yet my boobs are ready. they're ready to feed a baby. But yeah, it's just strange still. Heartburn has kicked in the last couple of days as well after eating, mainly in the evenings. That was the same with Isla. I've still had aches and pains down there, but the sharp pain has definitely ebbed. And I forgot to say that they sort of put it down to, in the end, they did think that it could be just like really stretching of the ligaments again, but they also said that it could be my what's it called, appendix being irritated, but unless it basically nearly erupts or causes me to vomit and gives me a temperature and causes harm to the baby, they're not going to do anything. There's nothing that really they can do, which is a pain in itself, but obviously if they don't need to do anything, and it has, like I said, it has ebbed, it hasn't been not nearly as bad as it was then, so I'm thankful for that, yeah, and I'm glad that it's gone, basically. I've been feeling dizzy quite a lot. They said, I think that my bloods were fine. They didn't actually come back and tell me whether they weren't or whatnot. They did check that I was taking, you know, my pregnant care, which I am. They were fine with that, so I'm guessing that they were fine, but I am still going to mention it tomorrow with my midwife that I've been having dizzy spells and stuff. Even when I'm laying down, I get dizzy and lightheaded, but it might just be normal. They might not think it's anything, so as long as my, you know, iron's fine and stuff. Definitely been feeling tired, out of breath, as you can tell, on and off. Definitely been needing like extra sleep. Probably not really been getting it though, to be honest. I think that's kind of everything really. It is just the fact, my main thing is definitely nausea that I've been struggling with this last 2 weeks, and generally feeling bleh, just not feeling very well. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the scan. Obviously, I'm really hoping to see a little baby bum and a sticky little bean that's gonna stay in my tum tum for a very long time. Hoping that I can get a bit more positive as well, and that, like, it's like I don't mind having the sickness if everything's okay. I think that's my main thing, is like, obviously it's horrible, it's nasty, but if it means my baby's growing, then okay, you know, like, I'll have it. But yeah, I just really hope that baby is okay.